I'm about to explain Yondu to you in 2 seconds or less. Get it? Oh my god, Mike, that was so funny. It was literally the funniest joke I've ever seen in an MCO video in my entire life ever. It's so funny. It's so funny. Alright, listen, jokes aside, right? Yondu, man. He got buffed recently. We haven't talked about him yet. But as you can see from this little explanation here, I think you understand where I'm going with this, right? In a world where Nimrod is the best in the world at what he does, Yondu's pretty good at it. He's very good at it, actually. But he's not as good as a Nimrod. Now, this buff, man, it's a huge improvement for Yondu. There's no doubt about it. And that should be the purpose of a buff, right? For people with developed rosters, let's say like myself, let's use myself as an example, or even somebody with like 60 to 70% of the roster that I have. I have like 65 rank 3s. Let's say somebody even has like 30 rank 3s, right? Even for them, Yondu probably not going to be super duper useful here. But who Yondu is going to be really good for is the guy who has like 10 6-stars. One of them is Yondu, doesn't have a Nimrod, doesn't have a War Machine, doesn't have a way to deal with these annoying mutant defenders. Because in Yondu's new kit, he has this ability right here. 25% chance to pilfer an armor up buff. And ready for this? 50% chance to pilfer one prowess effect. For each prowess or armor up pilfered, gain an armor up buff, granting plus 1400 armor rating for 15 seconds. That is a lot of armor. If you combine that with his Sig ability, okay, so basically they gain a weakness for each debuff effect they're suffering at the time of activation, reducing attack by 40% for 5 seconds. This dude is an absolute freaking tank. Like, it's kind of nuts, man. It's kind of nuts how tanky he can be. And what I did was I went through the mutant roster and I pretty much fought all of the annoying mutant defenders who have prowess. And I'm going to show you how effective Yondu can be. Listen, one thing he's lacking is damage in short to medium length fights. So a lot of people are going to overlook him, okay? And listen, if you're choosing between Yondu and Nimrod, the choice is just like so beyond obvious that you're going to choose Nimrod, right? But if you don't have Nimrod, who is still a newer 2021 champ, Yondu came out in like 2017, right? You probably have Yondu. You might not have Nimrod yet. Yondu could be a decent rank up in the top for the time being, just a 6-star rank 2 or even a 5-star rank 4 to deal with some of these annoying defenders. So I'm going to show you how dominant he can be for some of these matchups. And we're going to start out with Sauron and Toad, two honestly very annoying defenders, and I'm going to show you how tanky he can be and how effective he can be against mutants with regeneration and prowess, okay? So just so you know, Sauron's still new. Every time you hit him, he has a chance to gain a prowess and also a regeneration effect. He can't be affected by despair, anything like that. You really want to use heal block, okay? So when he has 7 or more prowess, he goes unblockable. Let's watch how strong Yondu is for this, okay? We're hitting it to him. We're removing his prowess so he cannot go unblockable. It's not going to happen, okay? So we're removing that stuff. And now this heal, say goodbye. I believe that's a 25-second heal block. Look at how he just blocked the entire special one like it's absolutely nothing because we pilfered 5 prowess effects and had 5 armor buffs, and we had all the debuffs on Sauron, okay, that were just blocking everything, and the block damage is essentially non-existent here. Really, really solid, to be entirely honest. Now, of course, I just want to, because I know people are going to comment it. Nimrod could shock him to death and take away his regen and take away his prowess, and also he has the armor buffs and he's really tanky. Yes, okay? But if you don't have Nimrod, look at how tanky this guy can be. Really solid stuff. Toad, very similar story. They came out at the same time. He has very similar mechanics. You hit him, he gets like the regen. You get him in the corner. You usually don't want to get Toad in the corner because he starts regenerating a lot and he gets like a lot of prowess and stuff like that, right? But with Yondu, that's actually really good for us because what's going to happen is we're going to have the really long heal block and we're going to get rid of the prowess for weakness. debuffs on this guy. 4 weakness and 5 armor up buffs. Really, really, really solid Toad and Sauron counter. So if you don't have a Toad and Sauron counter, Yondu could honestly be really good. Same for Kitty Pryde if you don't have Nimrod, even though Mega Sentinel I forgot to mention, but she's not even in the feature yet, so you probably don't have her if you don't have Nimrod, right? Unless you're super duper lucky and you got her from like 1 cav. Yeah, right? But really good for Kitty, to be entirely honest, because you're really controlling her prowess, okay? So we have 5 armor up buffs, man. That is really seriously a lot. That's plus 7,500 armor rating. If you stack some War Machine free fights on there, you're probably gonna have a good time there. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I still, after all of this time, do not like Dexing White Mag Special 1. It catches me off guard sometimes. Same thing with Red Magneto Special 2, right? There's just something about it. So what we're gonna do here essentially is build up all of these armor up buffs just by hitting him normally, right? Look at this. I don't even know what happened there. A little bit of lag. We threw it into his block. Cool. Check this out. Heal block. Boom. Weakness. 4 armor ups. We're just gonna block it. 3 weaknesses, man. Oh, baby. That's pretty freaking solid. And again, oh my god, just use Nimrod and just use... Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. But... right? Let's say you don't have him. Really, really good for that. Now, let's say you don't have a Havoc counter yet, right? Now, what you can do here is you can bleed him a little bit, build up his plasma, and now you can bait out a heavy attack. There's a prowess, boom, pilfer the armor up buff, and now, check it out, man, the armor up buff is going to stay there while we're healing from willpower from all the plasmas building on us. Really, really good Havoc counter, okay? Now, OG Storm has those new animations, and it's a little annoying, right? But she also has all that prowess. So, if you don't really feel super comfy dexing Storm's new special attacks yet, I got really good news for you. You are going to be an absolute tank against Storm, because look at this. 6 armor up buffs and a weakness. All that prowess, it doesn't even matter. We're still at 100 freaking % health because this guy is a mega tank, dude. It's like, it's seriously nuts. I'm trying to like bait out another one. 2 weaknesses. It's just like crazy, right? Now, Storm X is a little weird because she does glance, right, on basic attacks. So that could definitely potentially get in the way there of like, you know, that ability not happening. Now, she does gain prowess when both champions fill a bar of power, but as you can see, we still got rid of it there, but we didn't get the armor up buff. That's all right, because look at this. 4 weaknesses, man. Now, if you don't feel comfortable dexing a lot of mutant champion special attacks, you're probably gonna like this guy, man, because he's got that tanky aspect when fighting mutants specifically. Now, also, he can pilfer armor up buffs, right? But you know, most tech champions have the armor up buffs, and I really wouldn't want to use him against too many tech champions here. But now, we actually got a taunt on us because we don't really want to block Jubilee's special attacks, but it's just, I was rapid fire going through these, and wasn't thinking about that, right? So yeah, but point is, still lots of prowess effects, right? Jubilee is not the hardest defender in the entire game without a doubt, but still very good for her, right? Apocalypse, man. Right away at the start of the fight, you're going to want to just get rid of those prowess effects, right? You get the bleeds on as you're going. He's going to go immune to bleed, right? If you're up against a defender who's immune to bleed, right, you get to place an armor break instead. Look at this. Look at the damage on that. Nothing. Now, I want to look at it in a really practical setting as well. This is Act 7 on the node Combat Deja Vu, okay? So that's essentially prowess combat deja vu. So essentially what that does is if you do like medium, light, medium, you're essentially going to put a prowess buff on because you do medium, light, and now you should do a medium attack, but the repetitive light, the second light there, is going to put a prowess on, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to eat that prowess and turn it into an armor up buff. There is also actually power reserve here, which is so good for Yondu. Now, if you happen to have a rank 3 Yondu, he's going to be really good for this lane in Act 7, okay? Now, for the way that Yondu Special 2 works now, a new mechanic for him, is that for every special attack the defender uses, right, in the fight, you're going to get a fury, passive fury that lasts for however many seconds and it does however much damage, right? And it stacks up to 12 times. The issue is, man, baiting out 12 special attacks, that's just not really it, you know, more often than not. Like, you're not going to want to do that. It's going to make him really good for longer fights, but you're not going to want to use this guy for longer fights. So I'm still trying to figure out like where this guy's place in the game is. For me, I really feel like it's for like smaller accounts who don't have that Nimrod, who don't have that mutant counter, who don't have that Captain America Sam Wilson yet, don't have that that Omega Sentinel, but you have a Yondu that you, let's say you've been playing casually for a few years. You got Yondu, one of your first 6 stars. He's been useless for you all this time. Now all these mutant defenders, you know, who used to give you so much trouble, you got someone in your roster that's going to counter them very, very well, right? So also, man, you never know what defenders are going to be released in the future. I think he's a really amazing Toad and Sauron counter where I would feel comfortable using Yondu like against Toad or Sauron in Alliance War or high pressure content like that. I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't choose Yondu over like other tech attackers for like most of the other mutants here, but I feel like I would personally feel a little bit more comfortable using Yondu against like Toad and Sauron. And that's, I'd probably, you know, should just use Nimrod, right? But I really love that really long heal block there. I think it's really good. Of course, Nimrod can remove the healing. Nimrod's really good, guys. So that's an issue where, like, you know, Nimrod's so good. Hercules is so good. New Cosmic Gem comes out. Oh, well, they're not as good as Hercules. That's the same thing here, right? But that was really solid here, right? And there are combat prowess, deja vu lanes, you know, in Alliance War, there's aggression prowess, stuff like that. So if you're in a lower tier of Alliance War and you have a Yondu and you're on path 6, right? Yondu could potentially be a solid champion to bring if you don't have any other top options, right? So this buff is definitely an interesting one. He's not going to be like overly used, I don't think, by end game players, right? I do not expect that to happen. His damage is not the highest, right? But he's an absolute Tankosaurus Rex, man. He's an absolute Tankosaurus Rex, and that's really good. He's really solid for like getting those weaknesses up and just being very consistent and just removing the prowess effects. So listen, he's really good at fighting mutants now. There have been a lot of tech champions released in the past 12 months who are also really good at fighting mutants. So it's a bit of like a, you know, like, cool, he can do this thing. Not as good as the past few tech champions released, but he can definitely do the thing. So, you know, like I said, this buff is really going to be for players who have smaller accounts, right? And this is going to be your best option for those mutants. And I think that's definitely a win overall. He's much better than he was. He can do more damage than he used to be able to do. In longer fights, he has a good damage, man. But you probably have better options if you have a bigger account. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a like. Comment what you think about Yondu and his, oh, does it not say the name of the special attack here? There it is. Yaka Ataka. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Hit the subscribe button. Did this open your eyes to Yondu a little bit? Do you like him? Do you hate him? I want to know. Let me know. But let me know after you hit the subscribe button. Don't let me know if you're not going to hit it. I'll be seeing you around.